Return to sender. Close to 4 million customers and employees of the Postal Service have personal information hacked. In today's cover story, how chicken wings almost clipped an election victory. Also, is it better to buy or sell Alibaba post Singles Day? Plus, how a member of the Air Force has a ball making money. First Business starts now.
You're watching First Business. Financial news, analysis, and today's investment ideas.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Angela Miles. It's Veterans Day 2014. In our first look, stocks build on new highs. The Dow and S&P once again reached new territory, this time helped by home builder Toll Brothers, which reported a sales surge. Gold futures, however, were tarnished by $20, and oil fell $1.35. Corn and soybean harvests continue at a record pace due to favorable weather conditions, but an Arctic blast is about to unleash that could cover most of the U.S. And McDonald's recalls 2.3 million Hello Kitty birthday lollipop whistles. The company says it's possible children could choke on some of the parts. Chris Kirsch of Altimus Capital joins us on this Tuesday for Trader Talk. Good morning to you, Chris.
Good morning, Angie.
How critical will the retail numbers coming into the market this week be to traders and to the overall stock market?
The retail numbers are going to be huge, and they're what's going to be carrying us higher. We need a catalyst. Alibaba came out with fantastic numbers yesterday, and I believe that's going to follow throughout the week.
Let's talk about this Alibaba trade. The stock was soaring yesterday, but I'm hearing a lot of traders want to short this stock at this point, or they see it as a shorting opportunity. Do you think Baba is headed higher, or would you be with a shorting gang?
Angie, a lot of the traders that I know said those same things about Alibaba as they did with Tesla, and those same traders are buying puts right now. So I'm staying out of this realm. I think it could go much higher from here.
That's interesting to note because some people are saying it could be a sell on the news. Great to have you here, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chuck Coppola slips in now with a new update on the hack attack on U.S. postal workers. Hello, Chuck.
Angie, the stock market is open today, but not the bond market, and mail won't be delivered because of Veterans Day. And it was no holiday when the Postal Service discovered that a cyber attack of its customer care center may have compromised personal information of more than 800,000 employees. Customers who contacted the call center between January and the middle of August may have had details about where packages and letters were headed. According to a USPS spokesman, the breach did not affect credit card data.
President Obama is shaking hands with China's leaders on a visa deal, allowing Chinese students, business people, and tourists to stay longer in America. The president is in Beijing for the annual Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, better known as APEC. Yesterday, the president revealed a visa plan allowing U.S. and Chinese visitors to stay 10 years in each other's countries. The president says it will boost the U.S. economy by $85 billion per year by 2021 and support about 500,000 jobs. Aside from the trade deals the president is working on, he's also focused on potential nuclear threats.
All the countries in the region, including China, including the Republic of Korea, including Japan, consider this to be their #1 security priority.
Back in the U.S., as Republicans prepare to take control of the Senate, it's believed it may pave the way for faster passage of an Asian trade deal.
Cable and internet service provider stocks are falling after President Obama asked the Federal Communications Commission to save net neutrality. Charter Communications dropped 12% to close at 146.62 after the announcement. Specifically, Obama called for stopping ISPs from blocking or deliberately slowing legal content through the web. He also proposed a recommendation to ban paid-for fast lane access, so web services may be accessed with no additional fee.
World leaders in the banking industry are saying no more to too big to fail. 30 of the biggest banks around the world could soon be required to hold a larger cash cushion to cover massive losses. Mark Carney, chairman of the Financial Stability Board, calls a cushion a watershed moment. He says bank bailouts were totally unfair for taxpayers. Carney also tells the BBC banks, shareholders, and creditors receive the benefit when things went well. Banks will now have to hold 16 to 20% of risk-weighted assets in equity and cancelable debt.
This year's banker bonuses may not be quite as gilded as in years past. The annual survey put out by compensation consulting agency Johnson Associates says most end-of-year payouts are expected to drop by about 10%. The reason behind the likely drop is that banks are turning away from riskier financial activities. At large banks, year-end bonuses account for a large percentage of total pay.
The government is out with a sneak peek of the new Obamacare website. Open enrollment to sign up for coverage through the Federal Health Care Exchange begins Saturday, and the website has been given a makeover. Yesterday, officials revealed that just under 10 million Americans will enroll in the Affordable Care Act health insurance plans by the end of 2015. That is below the earlier estimate of 13 million.
Gilead stock is gaining as its hepatitis C drug gains favor over drug company rivals. So far, Gilead's Sovaldi is the top treatment. Its stock rallied just over a half point to close at $107. Gilead shares have raced from the $90 range to above $100 just in the past few months. Merck stock, however, plunged more than 4% at one point during yesterday's session. The pharmaceutical giant was attempting to shorten the hepatitis C treatment to 4 weeks by adding Gilead Sovaldi to its own treatment. But the results were disappointing.
Dendreon is in critical condition following disappointing news on its cancer vaccine. It's the first company to produce a cancer vaccine. Sales of the drug fell short, and it sent shares spiraling 80% Monday to just 18 cents. That stock peaked back in April of 2010 at $57. The Seattle-based company is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
24,000 cabin crew workers narrowly reject an American Airlines contract offer. That number represents the combined workforce of American Airlines flight attendants and those of the former U.S. Airways. The two airlines merged in 2013. Union leaders told members that the contract was the best deal in the U.S. industry. Despite that, it was rejected by a mere 16 votes. Negotiations now go to federal mediation.
One of the biggest high-flying stocks this week in the market is Dean Foods. Shares made a sudden jump of almost 14% on earnings that came out Monday. Dean Foods is the largest milk processor in the nation. The company posted a loss that was smaller than anticipated. Dean has been hit hard this year by the rising price of milk.
In our cover story, few people thought Republican strategist Ed Gillespie's attempt to unseat incumbent U.S. Senator Mark Warner of Virginia would be as close as it was. Fewer than 17,000 votes out of more than 2 million of them cast. Now it appears that a calculated photo op at a Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant posted on social media helped narrow the gap for the Republican. In a story reported by Politico, the Gillespie campaign found Buffalo Wild Wings in Virginia had the second highest number of Facebook likes by Republican-leaning independent voters. In YouTube videos posted by the restaurant, a lot of people give high fives to each other. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? So on the final weekend of the campaign, Ed Gillespie and his wife Kathy stopped by one of the chain's sports bars in Virginia Beach. A photo was taken and posted on the campaign's Facebook page. The photo got more than 1,200 likes, but more importantly, say political analysts, it got him votes.
More often it's a get out the vote campaign. In this particular example, it was trying to use persuasion on special social media. We're just getting to a new stage, which are essentially paid ads on social media, just as they are on internet search engines. And smart campaigns are buying ads there. They're also much cheaper and much more effective.
In 2008, Barack Obama used social networking to raise money and organize locally to beat Hillary Clinton, then John McCain. Simpson says Republicans are catching up. Gillespie's digital advisor came from American Action Network, which still wants to stop Obamacare. But as with both major parties and candidates, voters told us they consider a staged photo op on social media no differently than a political ad on television.
I think businesses kind of should stay out of it. Just like, with the Hobby Lobby stuff and everything, if they start picking sides, they are going to eventually lose some customers.
It wouldn't make a difference who the campaign, who it was, whatever party. It wouldn't make an issue.
They don't reach a broad enough audience to be able to sway huge numbers, but when you need only a few thousand votes to win the election, they're a perfect buy.
As Politico reports, Gillespie's campaign reportedly paid Facebook a fee to keep it posted prominently in Facebook's news feeds sent to 25,000 voters in Virginia. We've not yet received a response from Facebook on that.
A check of the latest sales numbers at McDonald's shows business is better at the burger giant than Wall Street predicted. Worldwide numbers were down 0.5%. Analysts expected a slip of 2.2%. McDonald's is facing tough competition in the U.S. and is also still trying to make up for losses from that chicken supplier scandal in Asia. Don Thompson, CEO of the Golden Arches, is attempting to beef up business with fresh ingredients and made-to-order burgers.
After pie-in-the-face sales for the past 2 years, Pizza Hut is getting a major reboot. The world's largest pizza chain will add dozens of new crust, sauces, and topping choices. According to the company, there will soon be about 1,000 ways to customize one of its pizzas. It's the biggest overhaul the 56-year-old chain has ever gone through. According to fast food industry analyst David Henkus at Technomic, Pizza Hut faces a struggle with its new endeavor and the changing tastes of consumers.
You look at what's resonating with the consumer right now, they've obviously decided what they're offering to the consumer is not resonating. And so there's certainly been a model for success from Domino's in the past to go in and completely wholesale blow up the business and start over again. And obviously Pizza Hut has decided that that's what they want to do.
Pizza Hut is part of Yum Foods. Yum stock closed up 0.5% to $73.27 Monday.
Taking a look at the earnings calendar for today, it's D.R. Horton and Fossil Group. Still to come, how Alibaba turns a lot of singles into 10s, 20s, and 100s on November 11th. Then the U.S. ambassador to Singapore on China's role in the future of Asia. Plus, having a ball in the Air Force, how one serviceman is keeping an American tradition rolling along.
Samsung bets big on Vietnam and invests $3 billion to build a new factory there. Smartphone maker will build its second factory in northern Vietnam, according to a government official. Samsung is attempting to reduce costs and stay competitive with smartphones built in China. This latest step raises Samsung's investment pledges in Vietnam this year alone to $11 billion.
In China, a day that rivals Black Friday and is the opposite of Valentine's Day is known as Singles Day. And Singles Day just racked up more than $1 billion in the first 17 minutes. China's young people either lament or celebrate being single by going shopping. Alibaba, China's largest e-tailer, is expected to top last year's sales and set a new record. Those sales could be above $5.8 billion. Bill Mahler is here now with more on what to expect from the president's visit to China.
President Obama is in Beijing for a lot of meetings. Also, it's for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, APEC. You know, China is pressing for an Asia-Pacific free trade area, but at the same time, Obama is meeting with the leaders of 11 countries trying to negotiate a different agreement, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and it does not include China. Kirk Wager is U.S. Ambassador to Singapore, which is a party to both APEC and TPP. Do these two organizations kind of represent two forces at work, counter forces for dominance in Asia?
Absolutely not. I think that TPP is much further down the road, and getting that finished and raising the standards for international trade are important. But TPP is not a party that you're invited to. So any country, China included, that meets the standards for inclusion can down the road be part of it. But right now we have the 12 countries that are hopefully getting it across the finish line.
Well, when will that happen, and what will that do once it does happen?
Well, it's 40% of the world GDP under one agreement, which is an incredible thing, and has, as I said, 12 countries that range from Chile to Singapore to the U.S. to Japan and many others. When it does, it will raise the game for intellectual property rights, free flow of data, and many other investment treaty protections. When it will get done, it will be when it's supposed to get done. We're very, very close, but I think a good deal is better than a fast deal.
Mr. Ambassador, tell me about Singapore, your interest in all of this.
Well, Singapore is a trading hub. It's the second largest port in the world, #1 for transshipment, and they understand the value of trade, of raising all people and giving opportunities for their citizens. And we believe a high standard with protection for labor and environment can do that throughout the region, not just the signatories. So Singapore is a leader, in fact, one of the 4 countries that started TPP, of which we later joined. So I think they have that forward vision that we are part of.
And businesses need to understand there are opportunities there.
Absolutely. Singapore is a platform for all of Southeast Asia where you have 620 million people, a lot of them very young. So every part of Southeast Asia needs something, whether it be Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, or Malaysia, or any of the other countries. The question is, what's the right platform? And Singapore is.
All Right. Ambassador Wagner, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Bill.
Coming up, where active and retired military veterans can collect on those thank yous. Then in Chart Talk, why one trader says the rally run in the dollar is looking tired. Today, as we honor our veterans of war, an active duty service member is not only working in the U.S. Air Force full time, but he also has a thriving business that keeps an American pastime alive and well. Kai Sisson tells us how the American hero is on a roll.
It's bocce, horseshoes, and bowling.
Kind of taken the best out of all of those games, and I've rolled it into one.
Matt Butler is the creator of Rollers, a revitalization of outdoor classics that was envisioned in between his tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I will bowl first.
An active member of the United States Air Force, Butler saw a need not only for a fun, new outdoor game, but a way to hire veterans that are out of work. This sparked an idea to exclusively employ retired and active military members and their spouses to develop Rollers, a commitment he contributes to his success.
It's very rewarding, self-rewarding to be able to help out other spouses and military folks.
When smartphone games like Candy Crush and Angry Birds are in high demand, why create a good old-fashioned game like Rollers?
It's a great way just to get people outside and unplugged from the TV and games and, your smartphone.
In just 3 years, Rollers is now in more than 1,000 retailers and expected to expand to 2,000 by the end of 2015. Labyrinth Games in Washington, D.C. is one of those retailers.
We thought that the backstory was really interesting, and I like the military tie-in, especially because we're in Washington, D.C. and have the Marine Barracks around the corner. People do like to play it. It's been a great seller for us, and we really enjoy having it.
And like any entrepreneur, Butler has had to make sacrifices for his business, but he has never compromised his job in the Air Force and commitment to his country. Seeing his product come to life is what he says makes entrepreneurship a worthy fight.
Going from a concept, just something in your mind, to going on a retail shelf. So I've got pictures of it, towers of the games, and it's just really neat to see this. This went from my mind onto a store shelf.
Kai Sisson, First Business News.
Matt Butler has turned his success with Rollers into an opportunity to consult with veterans on how to effectively manage their businesses and their inventions.
A number of businesses are offering veterans special deals this holiday. Military veterans may enjoy a free coffee at Starbucks and get a free haircut at Great Clips. Handel's homemade ice cream shops are offering vets free cones, and to work that off, veterans can work out for free at 24-Hour Fitness. In some cases, a military ID will be required.
Stick around. Still to come in Chart Talk, why short-term investors need to be choosy about stock picking. Alan Neckman of Bullseye Options joins us on the show now. Alan, considering how this stock market has ramped up, are there any stocks out there that you would buy as individual plays?
Well, I'm still bullish, but the problem is we've had a 10% straight up move without any pullbacks or any corrections. From a risk reward standpoint, buying in here, even though I think we're going to go higher, the question is, how do we do that? Is there a pullback first? You could have a 5% pullback to give up some of these gains and then continue to march higher. So you have to be very, very selective. And as far as individual stocks at these levels, unless you're looking more than 6 months out, it's very hard to be a buyer here.
What about the dollar? The dollar has been strong, as you know, in the past couple of months here. So what would be your play on the dollar?
Well, that's really the story. That's what's pinned the other assets markets down. So really, it's only been the stock market that's rebounded. If you look at the dollar, you look at gold, you look at oil, foreign currencies, they're all down near their lows and actually multi-year lows. But we saw some interesting action last week that typically means that some of the worst may be over and the sellers may be getting exhausted. We saw a key reversal in the euro currency, meaning we made new lows and closed higher on Friday. The same happened for gold. And we saw that the crude oil market has somewhat stabilized. We got near 80, And last week, even though it felt a lot worse, crude oil was only down $1.80 on a weekly basis. So I think there's more upside potential than downside for a lot of these assets that have been beaten down. I'm looking specifically at the Canadian dollar currency, the FXC ETF, as a way to participate because you benefit if the dollar stops going up, and if crude oil does stabilize, move higher, the Canadian currency could very easily get to 90 and then 94 once again.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
We are out of time for today. Coming up tomorrow, Best Buy's battle plan going into the holidays. From all of us at First Business, thank you to our veterans and to our servicemen and women serving now.